cars. He'd get called out in the middle of the night, and he'd have to put that big, heavy motor car on the back of his truck,
Yeah.
and it was heavy, and go down the tracks and get rid of kudzu. That, you know what kudzu is?
Yeah. Yeah, I know what kudzu is. So Papa Fred would have to do that?
Mm-hmm. Working for the railroad shitty. They treat you terrible.
I believe it.
They do.
So Grandpa Fred was working for the railroad, what, after he got out of the Navy?
No,
Or was this before he...
it was, he worked for them, let's see. He went to work in Huntsville, Alabama.
Right.
And then a lot of those people lost their jobs.
Yeah.
And he went to work for the railroad.
After he lost his job there in Huntsville.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So he went down to work for the railroad, and what would he do there again?
He worked on the two-way radios,
Okay.
and then the motor cars. And boy, they were heavy. He'd have to lift them up and put them on the back of his truck
Yeah, okay.
and
What
drive them down to Columbus, Georgia.
what was he putting on the back of his truck?
The big motor car.
A big motor car?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he'd have to clean all that kudzu off.
What, off the hillsides or something?
Yeah.
To keep it away from the railroad?
Yeah.
What did he use for that? Was just like a
Big thing. What do you call them?
big weed eater or something, or
Yeah, like that.
something like that? Okay. So he had already, but before he had gone down to work for the railroad, when he was up at Huntsville, he had already been introduced to the church up there, hadn't he?
Yeah. He, let's see. Redstone Arsenal.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the first, what do you call it, rockets built.
Yeah.
And
That's where you said
Werner von Braun
Warner von
came
Braun.
in there.
That's right.
Yeah. And him and a bunch of guys worked on them. Worked on the Redstone rocket.
Okay. And what was Grandpa Fred's job while he was there?
Just final checkout technician.
Final checkout technician. Do you know what he was checking on?
Mm-mm.
Was it rockets or just parts for rockets?
Parts and
Okay. And how did he get introduced to the church while he was there?
there was a guy that used to read the Book of Mormon on his lunch hour,
Okay.
and he would watch him, and other guys would make fun of him
Yeah.
because he was kind of weird, I think.
Okay.
One day he just asked him what he was reading,
Mm-hmm.
and he told him. And I think he said, "Do you want me to get you one?"
Wow. I think that probably took a lot of courage to
Oh,
read that Book of Mormon in front of all those guys at lunch.
he was always for the underdog. Always.
Grandpa Fred was?
Yeah.
Yeah. And was he, did he always like to read? I mean, was he always,
Yeah.
so he was always a reader?
Yeah.
Okay. And did he, I mean, I know you probably don't remember the guy's name that was reading.
Joseph Brown.
Joseph Brown was the one that was reading the Book of Mormon?
We never could find him.
Never could.
Mm-mm.
Were they about the same age, or
I think so.
they were about the same age? Do you know where he was from, or?
Huntsville.
So he was from Huntsville.
Because this woman used to come and do genealogy
Yeah,
in Johnson City.
yeah.
And we asked her if she knew him. And she did know him, but she didn't know what ever happened to him.
She has no idea whatever happened to
Mm-mm.
him. But he was from the Huntsville area.
Yeah.
Did him and Grandpa Fred, did they ever stay in touch, or?
No. Right after that, all those guys got laid off,
Yeah.
and he was one of them, Papa Fred.
Did he end up getting him a copy of the Book of Mormon?
Yeah, and he wrote his name in it.
He wrote
But
Joseph.
I don't know whatever happened to it.
We don't know where that Book of Mormon is.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
What's that noise?
I don't know. Tell you, that'd be awesome if we could find that.
Oh, I know.
So they never.
He
Th-
wanted Fred to have the missionaries. But
Okay.
he wasn't ready.
Grandpa Fred wasn't ready.
No.
Did he say why he wasn't ready,
No,
or
he didn't.
he needed to?
Said, I'm not ready.
Okay. He needed to maybe process things.
Yeah.
Was it up in Huntsville that he started reading the Book of Mormon?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would go to the Lutheran church and he would read that book.
Okay. In church?
No, he'd stay home.
He'd stay home
Yeah.
and he'd read the Book of Mormon. This is when y'all lived in Huntsville?
Yeah.
And didn't you say he read it real fast?
Yeah.
The first time he read it?
Real fast.
How long did it take him? Do you remember?
I would say maybe a couple of weeks there.
Okay.
And he said, I know it's true. I looked for it all my life,
Yeah.
and I know it's true.
Wow. Was it a little bit, when he first started reading it and he was saying those things, was that a little bit awkward at first? Were you like, well,
Yeah, I
what's
thought
going
he was
on?
nuts.
I bet it was strange. I mean, he comes home with
Yeah.
a strange book, and all of a sudden
Mhm.
he's saying that he knows that it's true and everything, and
And then hand me that water.
yeah,
When I talk, my mouth gets so dry.
yeah. Well, I know that
And then
oxygen's drying your mouth out too.
it wasn't long after that, we moved to East Point, Georgia,
Okay.
and they called me on the phone.
So they called you out of the blue, the missionaries.
Yep.
So y'all had moved down to Georgia where he worked for the railroad for a while,
Yeah.
and then you moved up to East Point.
East Point's where we moved.
Now what brought y'all up there?
The job, the railroad.
Railroad job moved
I think
you up
Ludi got him that job.
there. Uncle Ludi
His
did.
Uncle Ludi.
Okay. So y'all moved up to East Point, and how did the missionaries end up calling you?
They just called one day and said, we have a message about Jesus Christ. And I said, well, we're going to church with our next door neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, what is it? And they said, it's a book about Jesus Christ. And I said, well, they told me it was a Book of Mormon.
Yeah.
I said, well, my husband's read it, and he believes it, but I'm not interested.
Right.
But you can come tonight if you want to.
Okay.
And they did.
So and they were just doing anything they can to try to proselyte, right?
Yeah.
They just picked up the phone book and
Just picked it up.
picked it up and looked and happened upon your name, and okay. And so they was Grandpa Fred shocked when they called?
A little nervous.
A little nervous?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think made him nervous about it?
Because he didn't really like making decisions.
Okay.
And then I saw him pull up in the driveway, and I said, "It's them damn missionary." I said, "Come on in."
So Dad was about what, 5 or 6?
Yeah, about 5.
About 5 years old?
Said he remembers it.
He does. Would Dad sit in on the discussions?
Yeah.
He would?
He liked it.
Did he? Would he kind of play, or would he ask questions, or he just kind
I
of
don't remember.
be in the room?
Yeah.
Okay. And so those missionaries, when they came in, did they just started teaching the lessons? And
You know they ate that up.
yeah, I bet they were thrilled.
They couldn't wait to get there.
Yeah, I bet they were shocked. You know, a mission in the South had to be hard.
Oh, gosh.
You know.
Yeah. Who was the mission president there?
During that time.
Right before them.
Oh, I'm not sure. Mission president over the Southern States mission?
Yeah.
I know that J. Golden Kimball used to be the mission president, like way back, or,
But
you know.
it wasn't him.
Wasn't him.
I'll think of it.
It wasn't President Hinckley, was it?
Mm-mm.
Maybe in President Tanner, or
See. Who was?
Hubie Brown.
No, but I did meet him.
You met Hubie Brown?
We met youth conference.
I bet that was awesome meeting him.
Oh, he was a big man.
Big man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hello. Okay. So when do you remember much more about those discussions? About when the missionaries were teaching
Yeah.
Grandpa Fred?
I would go next door. Those people would say, "Come over here, hide out."
Yeah.
They were nice people.
Did Grandpa Fred meet with them a real long time, or was it pretty quick? that
He wanted to get baptized that first time.
First time.
First time.
Wow.
And they said, "No, we have to have," I think it was 7.
Yeah, maybe 6 or 7 discussions.
And they said, he said, "Well, can we have them all this week?"
Mm-hmm.
And it seemed like they did.
They probably said we could do that. Yeah. Was he? How long after he started taking those lessons do you think he was baptized?
Not long.
Real quick.
Mm-hmm.
And where did they have a font there in Atlanta that he
Yeah,
was
they
baptized?
did.
They had a font. Okay.
It was it was actually in Atlanta,
Okay.
Ponce de Leon Avenue.
Ponce de Leon Avenue.
He founded Atlanta, I think.
Okay.
Ponce de Leon.
Yeah. Yeah, Spanish explorer. And from that point, I mean, was he
From that point,
at church every Sunday? And
every Sunday.
wow.
He was, see, his vacation, my leg is twitching.
Is it?
His vacation was coming up, and they were just starting the building,
Mm-hmm.
and he took his whole vacation
Wow.
and helped build it.
Help build it. How long was this vacation?
A week.
Did that bother you a lot? Would that
No,
really? That didn't. You supported him?
no, I like the people.
Okay. And when he started going to church, at first was it just him by himself, or would he drag y'all along, or
No, we went.
you went and it didn't bother you to go,
Mm-mm.
or okay? And Dad would go to primary and all that.
But I didn't like Relief Society
Okay. Tell me why.
because I said them old women, all they talk about is their kids.
Oh yeah. You just get sick of talking about kids all the
Yeah.
time. Were most of those families from Utah that were there in Atlanta?
No,
They were
we're mostly local.
really, they were mostly converts.
Hmm.
Okay. Did y'all stay in touch with anybody from Atlanta?
We
or that
did for a while,
Okay.
but when they built churches then, they had a man and a woman with a trailer,
Yeah.
and that's how they built it. They lived in that trailer.
Okay. That's how they built the.
Church, yeah, and then people helped.
Okay. So, so how long did y'all live in East Point after Grandpa Fred joined the church?
A year.
About a year. And you, how long after he was baptized were you baptized?
About 3 months.
3 months after. And you just, I think you told me in the past that you did more kind of that to kind of just please him, and
Yeah,
it took you a lot longer to really find out for yourself whether the church was true,
yeah.
right?
I wanted to know.
Yeah, for yourself, right? And how did you, as far as your personal conversion, how did you come to know for yourself?
I knew the first time I heard the Joseph Smith story.
Really?
Even though I didn't get baptized, I knew it was true.
Just something about that story?
It couldn't, the Lord couldn't have chosen a young boy like that and it not be true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew it.
You knew it. Was that, was that when they were giving you the discussions, when they were giving Grandpa Fred the discussions, or when they were giving you the discussions?
See, did I take them? I think I did. I listened, but yeah, I listened, but I wasn't real sincere.
Right.
But when I see that flannel board and that little boy
Yeah.
looking up the tree, I knew it was true. How could you not?
Yeah.
How could you not know?
That's where my testimony always goes back to is
That picture,
Joseph Smith and the hymn, Joseph
Yeah.
Smith's first prayer.
I love that song.
Yeah. So, I'm just curious, was that when you were being taught for yourself, the discussions, or was that when Grandpa Fred was taking the discussions? You heard that story, or do you remember?
I think it was him. but I was listening.
You were listening. You just weren't ready to.
I just wasn't ready.
We all have our own time, don't we?
Yeah.
We-
Yeah.
And it was. And I mean, didn't you say it was always kind of hard for you to read the Book of Mormon? It wasn't really something, or am I remembering that wrong?
Why is that leaking?
I don't know. All right.
Mm.
I think that's enough for now. Maybe we can do another one tomorrow or whatever. So, is there anything else you want to add before I turn it off? Anything on your mind about all that, or you think that's good for now?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
When Paul and I used to do this,
Mm-hmm.
I'd remember things. You know, he'd start asking,
Yeah.
and I'd remember then.
Okay.
Maybe
Maybe once you think about it after we finish, you'll have something else you remember.
yeah.
Okay.